as a, somebody who's a member of and works for the, Christian Reformed Church, what is it about church teaching, your traditions, beliefs that sort of compelled you to, organize such an event today?
Yeah. In the Bible, I see justice on almost every page. I think that God is serious about human beings treating other human beings with dignity and respect. And I think that's what the gospel is about. I think that the good news is the good news to the poor, and it is the good news to people who are on the margins and to people who are oppressed. And I think if we're not, as the church, engaging with those people and in those places, I don't think we're doing the work of Jesus Christ. So that's what compels me to a situation like this. I think that the people who are the most marginalized in our society right now are undocumented immigrants. And I think the church is losing its voice if it's not willing to talk about that issue, which is just so pressing right now. And it's continuing to happen in spite of the church being silent on it. And so that's what compels me to be here. I think that I serve a God of justice. So,
how important is it, do you think, for these kinds of events, in terms of sending a message to people who are undocumented or people who are being racially profiled or being targeted, by law enforcement or other groups? I mean, how important it is, you think, for those people who are kind of vulnerable to this sort of, anti-immigrant sentiment, to know that people are taking these kinds of actions?
Well, I hope it's important. I can only speak from my experience, which is as, a privileged person in this community, but it's my hope that that I'm able to use my privilege in a way that makes life more manageable for people who haven't been given that same privilege. So I hope that an event like this speaks hope into the lives of people who are suffering because of these unjust laws. That's what I really want. I want the laws to change, and I also want to become a community where we love each other and we take care of each other. And so I hope that a visible sort of symbol like this path to citizenship that we've created can be something that will encourage people who are suffering and help them feel like there are people who see them and who love them and who are on their side and willing to step out and to say something. It's unfortunate that some people's voices get heard in our culture and other people's voices don't. And I know that my voice can be heard, so I'm going to try to use it for justice.
And, just one last thing, if for people who couldn't come today, but maybe want to either find out more information or take action, I mean, what kind of things, again, you personally or in the work you do with the CRC, in terms of, what are concrete things that people can do if they want to actually, make real this idea that we should treat all people with dignity and respect?
Yeah, I would suggest a couple things. The first is we have a website that has lots of information that you can share with people. I think that we need to be educators. Bottom line, I think most people in our culture don't know how broken our immigration system is and how much injustice there is. If they knew, they'd be speaking. So I want to create a whole bunch of educators who are out there telling the truth. So you can check out our website, crcjustice.org. Another thing would be to text the message justice or justicia to the number 69866. That'll get you on a text message network that sends you updates for opportunities like this one to raise your voice on behalf of immigrants. So those are two things that you can do. I think another thing that people can do is just, once I think you have an obligation to start to speak. And I think most people in West Michigan want Michigan to be a place that's welcoming, that's hospitable, that's just. And I think in order to have that, we really need people to be willing to speak. So join us, join this voice. I think that it's an exciting time to be an advocate for justice.